welcome! Your boy Geek Ghost Gamer Top on the microphone, and my friends, we were waiting. Boy, were we waiting. We were waiting on bated breaths, and that time finally came. Yes, Sega, RGG Studios, and the devs were promising the FGC new game footage of the new Virtua Fighter project game that they had promised us for months and months. Teasers after teasers, Akira after Akira, and Stella, and the new Virtua Fighter project training ground that we saw of the trailer a couple of weeks ago during R.E.V.O Las Vegas. Yes, the FGC were waiting on bated breaths for the devs and Yamada-san and RGG Studios to give us something good. Yes, we were waiting, and that time came. Just a couple of hours ago, the RGG Studio and the devs and the programmers came on to the broadcast program that they had of their new Virtua Fighter project game and what they were promising the FGC. We waited, and then nothing. Yes, fam, we were treated to nothing. Boy, were we disappointed. How could the RGG Studios fumble a moment like this in history, in Virtua Fighter history? Yes, fam, were we disappointed. So, we are here to beg the question, how did RGG Studios fumble the new Virtua Fighter project game? Might have fumbled the new Virtua Fighter project game. Yes, and what it means for their legacy. Yes, fam, strap on tight, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, come to sit and listen to how the RGG Studios might have fumbled the legacy of Virtua Fighter project. And will they have a comeback after this? Yes, so the journey starts off months ago when a teaser of an unknown man dressed in some sort of coat with a silhouette hue kind of thing. We didn't know who this person was. Yes, it was a new signaling of how Sega and RGG Studios was going to revive their legacy project in Virtua Fighter. Yes, the last time we heard of Virtua Fighter was Virtua Fighter 5. Yes, fam, we were so waiting for RGG Studios to get a new Virtua Fighter project going. And yes, it was days upon days, months upon months, weeks upon weeks, and years upon years. Boy, we were left with a void that not only the FGC felt for Virtua Fighter and the legacy of what Virtua Fighter was going to be like. Even casual players that might have had their hands on Virtua Fighter were left with an undeniable void that could only be carved with a hamburger and some fries from McDonald's. Anywho, so Virtua Fighter 5 went on, had success on the console, PlayStation 4, I believe at that time, and Xbox Series. Yes, we were so excited. We were hoping, boy were we hoping for more. RGG Studios left us with some sort of cliffhanger. Yes, and the whole story goes that in game development, we know the process of what gets a good game going. And boy, RGG Studios were the masters of how Virtua Fighter was going to pan out. But boy, did we think wrong. Whilst they were planning the new Virtua Fighter project game at that time, they were busy making other IP games such as Yakuza 1, 2, and 3 at that time, which were acclaimed. So the FGC were left to wonder, why what is taking RGG Studios that long to make a Virtua Fighter project game? Were we hoping for the best? Were we anticipating for what the new Virtua Fighter project game was going to be like? We were also coming up with like ideas and hints to how the Virtua Fighter project would be or named. Yes, it was a cold, dark day in FGC land for Virtua Fighter and RGG Studios. Yes, but not long ago, sometime in the beginning of 2025, boy were our prayers answered. Yes, RGG Studios, after a decade long, most probably 15 years long, of no Virtua Fighter game in sight, they give us a teaser trailer. Yes, they have, I believe at that time they released 2 teaser trailers. One of some silhouette figureless kind of guy that was wearing some sort of coat and a fedora, and he was just kicking his way into the slums of somewhere China. Yeah, we were so ready, and when he turned, that silhouette hue guy turned, the words that were displayed all throughout the screen, or the highlighted reddish kind of screen, ready. So the FGC were speculating, high hopes were given to the FGC, to RGG Studios. The second one and the second trailer that came out, yes, it shows Akira and Akira fighting each other. It seemed to be a bit of gameplay. Yes, we knew the signaling of RGG Studios and the new unnamed Virtua Fighter game was at hand. Yes, Akira was the only guy that was shown because he is the poster boy of the Virtua Fighter game. So we knew, boy were we answered. And a couple of months ago, that's before R.E.V.O. Las Vegas, they gave us a DLC character in the form of Wolf Hawkfield. Now, to be fair, Wolf Hawkfield, now in his prime, is a late 50s professional retired wrestler who's trying to make his name and his living back onto the world of Virtua Fighter. We knew, boy, we knew for years upon years Virtua Fighter was coming back. But all they've given us ever since then was the logo, the new Virtua Fighter project. No name, no sub-name, no initial letter to signal that this is Virtua Fighter 6, and the new logo. Boy, we knew this was time, and boy, when R.E.V.O. came around, they teased us with a trailer that would signal the rebirth of Virtua Fighter. Yes, most probably Virtua Fighter 6 at this time. Boy, the trailer had a simulation training ground with the fedora Donnie Yen Yakuza Akira battling what seemed to be a clone of Sarah Bryant, but a new character in Stella, and a bit of gameplay. We knew, boy, we knew that RGG Studios was back. Yes, fam, it was back. So, after that, Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O. was remastered for the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4 and 5. We knew that this was their time. This was RGG Studios' time. And they teased us, saying that they will give us more by the time Tokyo Game Show rolled around. And boy, it did. High hopes were abound. The FGC were excited. They were anticipating. They were on abated breaths. Some were gnawing their nails and teeth like crazy, hoping to find out what Sega and RGG Studios has in store for the new Virtua Fighter project. And boy, the day came. September the 24th of 2025. The day that RGG Studios and Sega were gonna tease us with more on the development and a bit of the game's full release and reveal trailer of the new Virtua Fighter project. Yes, that's the name that they've given us ever since. So, we knew, boy we knew, but unfortunately, when their panel came around, they only teased us with 2 game modes of the new Virtua Fighter project. Yes, I believe it was the standard and the free flow kind of battle mode, and 3 styles of those battle modes. Yes, the free flow, the Russian break, and the stunner and stun gameplay modes. And their panel just gone. All of that in like 40 minutes or 45 minutes, but they've given us nothing. And at the end of their panel, they gave us a 20-second trailer of a guy that just roamed the streets of Japan with rain falling into the streets, and he just walked and you'd see the logo, the new Virtua Fighter project. And that was it. Why? Why leave us hanging, RGG Studios? Why didn't you give us the time to immerse to what you guys would have given us at that time? Why? We beg the question, why? Nothing happened. Boy, it was nothing. Why? Why give us that hope that you guys would give us the new Virtua Fighter project game in its entirety and spend 40 minutes of giving us the gameplay and the game modes and the trailer? Hey, but in due course, when all of that disappointment does come, there's a bit of hope. I say bit of hope in the lightness of it all, is that maybe they might be cooking something that we're not sure of. They should give us something. But in this case, and in this point, after the panel that they've given us a couple of hours ago, the FGC doesn't seem a little prospectus of RGG Studios and Sega and the devs. Come on, guys. You cannot leave us hanging like this after months and months of anticipation and hyping up the new Virtua Fighter project game to give us nothing. Guys, at least y'all have to have a perfectly good reason for this. Anyway, we will wait. The FGC will wait. But come on, RGG Studios, you gotta feed the FGC with something to show that the new Virtua Fighter project game is on course. Thoughts, fam? Do you think that RGG Studios will finally develop the game in its entirety? Or do you think that they're gonna give us the 2x KO treatment? Let me know, fam. Follow me on my socials and don't forget to be a part of the fam by subscribing. Support this channel, fam, support this channel. Find the notification bell somewhere on the screen, wherever you see it. And let me know, guys, let me know, fam. Do you think that RGG Studios will finally answer us the question of why did they leave us hanging during the Tokyo Game Show panel that they said that the new Virtua Fighter project was going to be around? But they have to cook. They seriously have to cook. Yamada-san, if you are listening, you guys have to cook. Anyway, I've been your boy Geek Ghost Gamer Top on the microphone. That is it for the news and what we were expecting of the new Virtua Fighter project game. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this video has found you well. And go out and most probably find a way to play Virtua Fighter. I'll see you guys on the next one. Away!